Hey guys, hello, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. Today it is Sunday, May 15th, 2022, and I've just realized today that it has almost been 2 weeks since my last video on here. I know that in the past week, thankfully, I did get my Facebook monthly update video done. It is up there for anybody who wants to see it. But yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since my last video on here. So this will be a weekly roundup podcast video. I just want to get a video up just so that there's something for you guys to sit down and listen to if you are inclined to do so and you want to. But yeah, truth is the past couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of stuff outside of the channel. I've been very, very busy, and it's just, when I have any downtime, I'm not gonna lie, it's either I take advantage of the bit of downtime I have to do other things I want to do or I need to do, or after that I have no time. And it's like, well, I could sit down and film a video or two, but there's other things that either I want to do or I need to do. And usually it's the latter, not the former. But yeah, the past couple of weeks for me have been very busy. I've had a lot on my plate and things are going fine. It's nothing bad. It's just I've had stuff I've had to do. One of them has been taking my car to the mechanic, which was not fun. It's never fun when you have to take your car to the mechanic and have something fixed, but you know what? I'm glad that it's done. My car needed new brakes, so I'm glad I got that done. But yeah, that was a little bit. That's always a little bit hectic when you have to go to a mechanic. The worst part is the bill at the end. But hey, you know what? I'm glad that my car's brakes are fixed. I needed to get them done, and my car drives so much better. But speaking of vehicles, I don't know what the hell we're going to do with these gas prices, man. I don't. I know I'm going on a bit of a non-Rockzilla tangent here, but I don't know how people are going to be able to afford to put gas in their cars if the prices keep skyrocketing to levels we've never seen before. I know here in Canada we're paying as much as $2.25 a liter. $2.25 Canadian per liter of gas. If you're an American, that's like $9 a gallon. Or maybe in American money, it's like $7.50 a gallon. I don't know. But we're paying a lot of money for gas, and I don't know what people are going to do. I work in retail, so I talk to people all the time. It's part of my job, isn't it? I work in retail, for crying out loud, but I hear it constantly. I hear it from people constantly telling me that they're concerned about the gas prices and they don't know how they're going to be able to afford to drive much longer. I even had a customer come in the other day and he was telling me that he basically pays $300 a week for gas because he needs his truck for work. I don't know how much longer people are going to be able to afford these gas prices. I got to admit, I'm getting very concerned myself. I don't want to have to cut back on driving, but if it keeps going up the way it is, I might have no goddamn choice. I might not be able to keep affording to pay it. I hate going on a side tangent like that, but I gotta admit, it's something that affects absolutely everybody. And when the gas prices keep going up, everything else, everything you buy, all the food you buy, groceries, everything, prices go up. You want something delivered, price goes up. Fuel surcharge, transit, whatever. Groceries, everything goes up in price when the gases go up. So if the gas prices keep going up to ridiculous levels and keep going even beyond what they are now, Obviously, everything else is going to be your prices for food at your restaurants, grocery store, blah, 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 is going to keep going up, 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 because they have to pay more higher gas prices in order to transport all the goods and groceries and food and stuff to restaurants, to grocery stores, to retailers. And then you and I get stuck with the bill covering the extra fuel surcharges. Pay more for shipping, pay more for this and that. Basically, everything goes up. And I have to admit, I'm really concerned about the direction that the fuel prices are going. This is not good. I mean, I don't know what the average Joe's going to do if gas prices, at least here in Canada, start going up past $2.50 for a liter. What are we going to do? I mean, yeah, I know there's electric vehicles, but last time I heard, they're not that cheap. Sorry for being a bit of a downer, but I mean, this affects everybody. This affects me. This affects you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, whoever's watching this video, Gas prices affect us all. And I don't know what the hell we're going to do. I have to be honest, folks. I'm getting very, very concerned about what's going on. And I think everybody should be concerned at this point, if you aren't already, like myself. But yeah, that's something that's been on my mind in the past week. It's just, I mean, when it keeps going up like it is, that's not good. And, I have to admit, that's something that's been really troubling me as of late. And that's the truth. So let's move on to a bit of a slightly better topic. Let's talk about hockey. First off, I'm absolutely ecstatic that at least one Canadian team is going to the second round. Edmonton did defeat the LA Kings yesterday. I am so happy. You have no idea. It's nice to at least see one Canadian team will be in the running in the second round. I am praying for Calgary to pull it off against Dallas tonight, because that would guarantee a Battle of Alberta second round matchup. And let me tell you, that will be one of the most epic playoff matches that we've seen in a while. I guarantee it. It'll be a thriller. It will be a great rivalry series between Calgary and Edmonton. I really hope it happens, but the Dallas Stars are a good team, and I don't trust Calgary to win Game 7 for sure. I have my doubts about the Flames, and unfortunately, what I've noticed in the past few years is that they've had a tendency to choke. They do really well in the regular season. They're a great regular season team, and they just have a way of choking, and it sucks. It absolutely sucks. I just hope that Calgary can turn it around tonight, get the W, and at least give us an all-Canadian second round. Now, something else about... I hate this couch. It squeaks every time I move. But anyway, what I meant to say is, with Calgary, if they do win tonight and defeat the Dallas Stars, what makes me really happy is the fact that, actually, maybe I'll tweak this real quick. There. At least you guys can look at something. But if Calgary wins tonight, that would guarantee an all-Canadian second-round matchup between the Flames and the Oilers. Not only would we get the rivalry Battle of Alberta playoff series that we haven't seen in ages, but it would also guarantee that one Canadian team would be in the Western Conference Final. And if they whoever goes to the Western Conference Final between Edmonton and Calgary, I don't think they stand a chance against Colorado. I don't see the Blues defeating Colorado. I think that Colorado either goes to the Stanley Cup final, either wins the Cup, or they go to the Stanley Cup final and lose to Tampa Bay. That's probably what it's going to come down to. I mean, Tampa Bay hasn't been quite as good this season. I mean, they didn't win the Atlantic Division this time around, but hey, once you go to the playoffs, ranking doesn't matter. It's just about who gets 4 wins first. If you get 4 wins before the other team does, you move on. The other team heads to the golf course. But speaking of the golf course and speaking of Tampa Bay, I have to be honest, even though I am not a Leafs fan, I will say this. I was so disappointed that Tampa Bay won last night. I was really hoping that this would finally be the year that the Toronto Maple Leafs would finally get to the second round. You know, I just want to see a Canadian team lift the cup. I'm not a Leafs fan, but I would love to just see one Canadian team win the cup, whether it's Toronto or my hometown team, the Vancouver Canucks, Ottawa, Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg. I do not care. I just want to see a Canadian team finally lift the Stanley Cup for the first time in my life. It's been too long. It's basically been 30 years now. I'd love to see that drought finally come to an end. It's long overdue. It was really unfortunate that Montreal couldn't do it last season. But at least when people talk about the last Canadian team to appear in the Stanley Cup final, at least now that Montreal went to the finals last year, hopefully I won't have to hear as much about the 2011 Stanley Cup riots and all the horrible stuff that happened here in BC, particularly in Vancouver when the Canucks lost the Stanley Cup. You know, I hate how there are hockey fans out there that paint all Vancouver Canucks fans as a bunch of rioters. You know, I still hear that quote-unquote joke that people make like 11 years later. That was a small, horrible minority of the fan base that decided to be a bunch of rioting hooligans for one night. They don't represent the 99% of the fan base that don't commit stuff like that, do not riot in the streets, do not cause chaos for people. It was a very, very unfortunate circumstance. So if I sound a little bit selfish for my reasons why I was so happy to see Montreal, so be it. I just am so glad that at least when people talk about the last Canadian team to appear in a Stanley Cup final, at least I don't have to hear on and on and on about the 2011 Vancouver Canucks and all the horrible things that happened in downtown Vancouver after the Canucks lost to the Boston Bruins. You know, that's one great silver lining about Montreal going to the Stanley Cup final. I just wish they would have won last season, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But yeah, with Toronto losing though, back to Toronto, I must say that was really unfortunate. They had such a good regular season, and I might do another video coming up about the playoff format in the NHL right now because I don't like it one bit. I don't like the divisional format with the 2 wild card teams. I think it should go back to what it was before, the conference format, where instead of having the top 3 teams being division winners, it's just the top 2 because now there's only 4 divisions instead of 6. But yeah, you know, I don't know, guys. I really, really don't like the current divisional playoff format the NHL has. I would like to see it go back to what it was before. That way, you know, it's not always the same matchups. There's more variety. And I think it's better for everybody. You know, there's some matchups, like, for example, Colorado and Nashville. That would have happened even if it was the conference format instead of the current one. Same with Washington and Florida. Florida's first in the East. Washington would have been the 8th seed. So, you know, but the other ones, there's like a third place versus 7th place matchup. I think that was between the Oilers and the Kings, in fact, where, in my opinion, that, you know, even though it was beneficial for someone like me wanting the Oilers to win, it's still not right, you know. I don't agree with it. Maybe you do. If you do, hey, that's That's your opinion, not mine. But yeah, I mean, you do you. But yeah, I gotta admit, I don't like the current playoff format, but, I have to be honest. Usually I don't care what happens with the Maple Leafs because, hey, I'm not a fan of them, but I really wanted Toronto to make it to the second round, and that stung. But the fact that at least one of the 3 Canadian teams is moving on, I was worried about Edmonton. I was. I mean, Edmonton has just, they have Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers have, this is only the second time in Connor McDavid's career that he's going to the second round. At least finally, the Oilers are playing in the second round again for the first time since the 2016-17 playoffs. But also notice something else. As soon as they go back to being a primarily blue team in the playoffs again, at least, notice that the Edmonton Oilers are back in the second round. As soon as they start wearing navy or some type of blue as their home uniform in the playoffs again, they've gone back to being at least a second round team. So I hope that this Game 7 that Edmonton won is hopefully the absolute final nail in the coffin for the Oilers being an orange team. I mean, if Edmonton wants an orange third jersey moving forward, hey, I'm all for it. But as their primary color, hell no. That's got to come to an end. I hope that their days of being orange first team are now over. See, in fact, I would like to see the Ducks become the Western Conference orange team, not the Oilers. And I actually have been hearing that the owners of the Ducks actually prefer the orange jersey over the black. So maybe where there is smoke, usually there is fire. So hopefully the Ducks at least switch to that orange jersey full time with a matching away, even though the orange jersey is not my favorite. I don't like the orange and khaki gold. There's things about the Ducks third jersey that I'm not a fan of. Even though I like the Adidas version of it better than the Reebok version. I feel that the collar style is actually better, which usually I never say that about Adidas jerseys. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, I know the Rangers as I'm watching this, or filming this video rather. I'm watching the game 2 behind me, but the Rangers are up 1-0 in Game 7. I'm actually hoping that Pittsburgh wins, but if New York wins, I'm happy for their fans too. But as for the Calgary-Dallas game, I just pray that Calgary wins. If they don't, then you know what? That's going to be a big shame in my opinion, because the Flames, they've been a great team all season long, and to see them lose to the Dallas Stars, I have to admit I will be extremely disappointed if Calgary cannot close it out against Dallas. They're actually a much better team than the Edmonton Oilers. From how they've performed in the regular season, when I look at their team, they've got a much better goaltender. But the thing is, even though Mike Smith's in his 40s now, if you've got a hot goalie in the playoffs and your team is able to just get through games and win, then, regular season stuff doesn't really matter, does it? But when you look at how the Flames have done in the season, you look at their roster compared to the Oilers and how they've performed in the regular season, I do think that the Flames should be a better team than Edmonton, but with the way they've played against the Dallas Stars, I mean, there's a chance tonight they might not even make it out of the first round. And right now, in my opinion, I think Calgary is the best chance Canada has to see a team win the Cup this year. Now that Toronto's sadly eliminated, I was thinking, hey, if they could just squeak by Tampa Bay, they got a shot. But unfortunately, that's not the case. But yeah, I'm really rooting for Calgary. I really hope they can somehow pull this off against Dallas tonight. I mean, I do think that if they play Edmonton, I think Calgary would win that series. But, if Edmonton gets their you-know-what together, They've got Connor McDavid. They've got Leon Draisaitl. They do have some excellent superstar players, and those two alone, you know, if the Oilers can just gel, get red hot, you know, maybe they've got a chance too. But if I were to pick a winner between Calgary and Edmonton, I would say that Calgary will win that series. But hey, as the old saying goes, don't count your chickens till they hatch. So, don't count your chickens till they hatch. So basically, unless Calgary wins tonight, I guess it's a case of, well, let's cross that bridge if we can actually cross that bridge. So go Flames, go. I hope that they somehow pull off a win tonight. I'll be extremely disappointed if they don't. I mean, if you're a Dallas Stars fan, you know, if you guys pull off the upset Game 7 win over Calgary, I tip my hat to you. I really do. Even though I'll be disappointed, you know, I gotta say, you know, it's an impressive feat if Dallas goes to the second round after tonight, especially with how good Calgary has been. But yeah, last night was very bittersweet. And on one side of the coin, you know, Toronto, when they had such a good team in the regular season, they lost that Game 7 nail-biter game 2-1 to Tampa Bay. But on the sweet side, at least Edmonton finally got out of the first round for a change. They finally didn't choke in the first round, which they almost did by going to Game 7. You know, they started off, they had a couple games where they were just kicking LA's asses, and then they just lost their mojo a little bit, and then they finally got it together in time for Game 7. So, you know, at least one Canadian team's moving on. But man, I just hope Calgary can do it tonight. But I'm not going to lie, I have my doubts. I just hope Calgary proves them wrong. My doubts wrong, that is. But anyways, guys, I've been talking for 22 minutes. I'm going to call it a wrap at this point. If you've got anything you want to mention down in the comment section below, by all means, feel free. And I do have quite a few comments I need to go in, look at, and respond to. That hasn't come across my mind lately, and I apologize for that, guys. I need to work on that tonight, hopefully. So, yeah, I'll try to remember. But anyways, I'll call it a wrap at this point. Take care, guys. And as always, bye for now. And last of all, go Flames, go. Please beat the Stars. All right, guys, take care.